Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Um, let's see. I'm trying this without the headphones. Hopefully, the audio is good. I'll try to speak loudly so it can pick it up. Um, it is me this week. We had an awesome interview next week. Hoping to get another awesome interview for the following week. But I also talked to you a couple weeks ago about some horsemanship stuff and some research. I would love to continue that, and I will continue to give research. But this week, I kind of had an idea for like an exercise for people to do, or not just people, horse owners in particular. So, in the previous episodes, I kept talking about the partnership, and my goodness, this is definitely something I need to address and go over because the reason you guys are listening and the reason you come to me and what I teach, my whole company, the name starts with horsemanship, okay? Horse, man, relationship. Obviously, man, not meaning just the male gender, that is all genders, um, man as in plural. Um, our relationship with our horse and what that has to do with horse training. So here's the biggest thing. Your horse is an animal, has a mind of its own. The reason we say that trick riding can be the most dangerous act in the circus is because our prop has a mind of its own. Okay. And, um, you know, I love horses. I love horses, but I also remind my students that, hey, your horse has the brain the size of a walnut. Okay. I don't, I'm not trying to insult a horse. It is a fact. Okay. And that kind of helps students and even myself understand that this being that I want to connect with so badly will not connect the same way I'm trying to connect with them. Okay. Because of the higher reasoning. Um, we can have amazing connections with our horses, but that's what they are, connections with our horses. So our connections with our horses are going to look different than connections with other humans and even other creatures. A connection with a horse is going to be different than a connection with a dog. And I want to remind listeners, viewers, that horses are awesome because horses are this right here. They are extremely independent. Okay, they kind of remind me of cats. Unlike your dog, your horse does not aim to please you, does not need to work, does not need or seek your um, your satisfaction, your approval. Okay, they don't need you in the slightest bit. So if your horse chooses to be with you, and when I go to clinics and we talk about liberty, I say now we're taking the horse free of restraint because you can do groundwork over and over and over again, and that horse knows the difference between being off the line and on the line. So if you can take that rope off and you're getting the same results, that's good because your horse does not need you. It will leave if you let them go. But if they stay, that's awesome. That means that you have some type of relationship right there. But at the same time, your horse doesn't need you. So it is amazing when we can have these working, performing, teaching, relationships with horses. Because if they are participating, they are most likely choosing to. Usually, they don't have a choice. But when you give them a choice and you can see that they choose to participate, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about never giving the horse a choice. We are talking about giving the horse a choice, okay? So when I work with my horses, yes, I do things online and in hand, online meaning our lunge line, and in hand and in small spaces and with bridles and saddles and equipment. Yes, we do that. But I also balance that with working at liberty, playing in the field, going on walks, doing things to balance that work relationship. So again, let's dive into it. So Working with your horse, owning a horse, it is a partnership. It is a relationship. I have an exercise, a journaling exercise for you guys today to kind of get a look at your relationship. If you can write it out, you can kind of put yourself at a third party perspective and look from the outside into the relationship. Because if you just think and you just speak off the top of your head, you're speaking from that inside perspective, and you're going to miss some things because you have your expectations of what you want, and that's where your truth is coming from. But if you can write it out, look at the dynamics between you and your horse, now you're getting a third party perspective, and you're going to realize some things you missed from that internal perspective. So, a partnership with your horse, like we said, this prop has a mind of its own. It has opinions, it has needs, it has feelings, it has a body that has health concerns, just like you, okay? When we're working with our horse, you want to figure out what kind of partnership do you want. If you are the type of person who is interested in just a controlling partnership where the horse has no say and you don't want to give the horse his needs and more than that, his wants, you don't want to give them time off and you don't want to take care of them physically or mentally, then this is not for you. And I don't think horses are for you. If you want to work with a horse, you have to keep their interest in mind, as well as yours. I mentioned in an earlier episode that in a utopia, we wouldn't work with horses, right? We would, or dogs or anything, there wouldn't be ownership here, right? You would just let them go and they can run free in the world and be safe and do what they want and have no worries that something would happen. That's not this world, okay? Human species, super overpopulated, and no matter what we do, it's going to be a human run world. If I let my horses go, they could run out into the road, get hit by a car, someone will pick them up, someone will take them to auction, who knows? So they are better off here with me than just letting them out into the world that they do deserve, but they're not going to get. Okay, so they are in my quote unquote ownership, and that is for their best interest. As a partnership, you can think of your partnership with your horse similar to partnerships with people. And I'm not just talking about a best friend, I'm talking about a coworker, I'm talking about, a renter and a landlord, a boss and an employee, a teacher, a student, friends. There's so many ways you can look at this, and forming it to where you're both getting your needs met and working to your potential and staying healthy is how you can design this. If you see two people walking in a mall, I use this all the time when I teach Liberty. You see two people walking in a mall and they're holding hands, okay? Their hands are relaxed and swinging and they're walking side by side. Looks from the outside looking in, looks like a good partnership, right? If you see two people walking in the mall and one is dragging the other one is walking way ahead with their head down and arms crossed and one's lagging behind, the other one's dragging them to a store, the other one's not listening when they're speaking, you can see that it's probably a bad, maybe not bad, but it is a difficult partnership going on. The dynamics are not light and happy and, not as much love there. So you can see that now with a horse and a person. Horse is dragging the person, or the person's dragging the horse behind them. The horse is pulling to the grass. Okay, they're spooking. There's tension in the rope. We're going for situation number one with our horse. We're walking together. I'm not dragging him. He's not dragging me. We look like we enjoy what we're doing and we're compliant to do so. So if you can, and I'll show you guys this if you're watching the video, but get a notebook And today, let's just illustrate and get it in your head, and you can process this for this week of how your partnership, the horse-human relationship, is with your horse. So on one side of the page, write me. On the other side, write horse. On the side of me, write no, let's do the horse first, because this will make more sense. On the side of the horse, write what you would like to see from your horse, okay? Because on my side, I have your responsibilities, my responsibilities as a horse owner. And then horse doesn't have responsibilities. This animal doesn't owe you anything, because they will never understand that they owe you anything. And they don't. Nobody, you did not get forced by the horse to buy this horse and take care of it, or by any other horse. Maybe somebody forced you to do so, but most likely if you own a horse, it's probably voluntarily done. So, what are your responsibilities that you chose horse ownership or to work with horses, etc.? But first, fill out not horse responsibilities, but what you would like to see from your horse. So write out the job description. Okay, we all choose a horse for a job. Most likely, we want that horse to be a trail horse. We want them to be a vaulting horse, a trick riding horse, an eventing horse, dressage, whatever. What do you want? And they can have multiple jobs. What would you like to see from that horse as far as their job? Okay. So let's say that I'm filling this out for one of my horses. I would like to see my horse be a trick horse. Okay. So I would like to see my horse be a trick horse, work in different environments, okay, and travel safely and calmly in new environments. Me, what are my responsibilities? Well, okay, let's fill this out. I must provide food, water, adequate shelter, space to roam, socialization. Is your horse with other horses or other animals? I hope it's not living alone. Healthcare. I'm to pay my vet bills. Farrier care. I am to keep up with this horse's feet. We got one horse just getting older, workload. He's just got injections in his joints, and gosh, I'm having a bodywork person come out tomorrow because we have a lot of clinics this summer, fall. So guess what? If we're working hard and they're just feeling it, that they need a massage and they need that kind of work too, okay? So fill out your side and then what your horse's job description is. Underneath that, stay under the horse column first. Okay, so for that job, what does this horse need to do? Okay, so I'm filling this out for my trick horse. My horse needs to A, maintain gait and direction regardless of what's going on. So that horse, if I put him at a gallop or a lope, let's say it's a bareback horse, put him at a lope, he needs to stay at a lope regardless if I'm jumping on him, jumping back down, vaulting, standing on him, doing a routine, and then regardless of what's happening outside the ring. So regardless of the people, the noise, the crowd, the lights, the music. Okay, he just needs to be set and stay there until told otherwise. And maintain gait, maintain direction until told otherwise, I think is pretty common for a lot of jobs, not just for trick riding. So think about what you need from your horse to fulfill his job. I also need my horses to be healthy, because we're traveling and we're going to other places, other barns, and the trailer can be stressful, and I need them to be calm and obedient. Lots of times there's 4 of them and 1 of me, and we need to unload, get into the barn, unpack, go out to turn out together. So I need them to have ground manners and be obedient. And I need them to be calm. I need them, they're going into new situations. Like I said, I don't need this. I would like them to be calm. So I should watch my wording so you guys understand. Okay. So then on the me side, for that stuff you just wrote, write down, how do you best support this? Okay. So this is the part that you need to think about, how you're going to help your horse achieve this, because your horse does not have higher thinking. So your horse does not know right off the bat how to maintain gain, maintain direction, regardless of what's going on inside of a circus tent. Your horse does not know how to have ground manners when you're working with them. Your horse does not know what is required, to be healthy. This is you. You have to be his therapist, his teacher, his mom or dad or guardian, or, you have to be, this is the role part. You have to be the, the witch doctor. You have to tend to his wounds. You have to be the therapist, keep them calm in situations and working through desensitizing. You have to be the teacher. You have to teach them how to do his job effectively and efficiently and in the best way possible. How can you expect your horses to do what you wrote in that earlier part if you're not holding up to your responsibilities? And here is you outlining how you get them there. You be his therapist, you be his nutritionist, you be his witch doctor, you be his teacher, you be his boss, right? You be his friend so that he keeps coming back and wanting to do these things. So how do you best support him? So I said my horse needs to maintain gait, maintain direction. I am the teacher. I train him to stay focused on the task at hand, and I give clear directions on how to do so. Okay? I need him to be healthy. I have the vet out twice a year for vaccines, and I do lameness exams, and I do body work and massages monthly now. We just got into that regimen because that is something that I needed to address on my half of the partnership, the bargain. I do teeth floating once a year. I do the hoof care, and I went to clinics to learn how to do that, and I trim their feet every 4 weeks, and I should write this out. Okay, what else? He needs to be calm. I need to be my horse's therapist. I need to understand cognition, and I need to understand and create my toolkit on how to help him when he gets stressed. I need to support him with, the right herbs and nutrition so he can stay less stressed. Okay? So go through your list and do your side. Even if that's not what you're doing, just don't focus on the past or the future. Just focus on this exercise right here, right now. Okay. And this last part. If I blank, then he blank. Okay? Fill out as many of those as you feel coming to you. What I mean, if I blank, then he blanks. If I schedule monthly massages, then he will be able to be more comfortable during clinics. If I work on Liberty once a week, then he will have a stronger connection to me. If I blank do dressage every week, then he blank will have better muscle tone to better do his job. If I blank provide brown bales, then he blank will have 24-hour grazing, as he is a grazing animal. Just go through some examples. You can come back to this. You don't have to fill it out now. As they come to you, think about now the relationship and cause and effect. Okay? And lastly, if he blank, then I need to blank. This is your problem solving exercise. If he spooks at the garbage cans, then I need to do desensitizing work with the garbage cans, okay? If he blank, I need to blank. So let's use Scout as an example here. If he spooks at crowds and clapping, then I need to blank, find a way to help him through this. And what was it? All my horse needed was earplugs. Okay, I need to make him more comfortable. If he is uncomfortable in front of crowds, I need to make him more comfortable. So, you know, other than giving him a treat every time the crowd claps, you know, that's not the only way you have to do things. To be open to try things, to flood inside. Remember, horse training and horsemanship is experimentation. You guys are individuals. So be open to try things. As long as it doesn't hurt you or hurt the horse, it doesn't hurt anybody. Be open to try things. So my horse had anxiety with crowds. That's kind of a hard thing to work on, you know, if you're working on specific jumps. You go to cross country field, you work on jumps. If your horse is afraid of bags, you desensitize them to bags. But putting them in front of crowds is kind of a hard thing to practice at home. You have to set that up where you get a lot of people over all the time. So, and we did that. We did that last year because we went to the tent early. We spent money on fuel. We drove out to the tent when it was in Ohio a couple months before we were going to start performing, just to make sure that those horses were going to be good in that setting. All of them. I knew Fez was going to be good, but you know, we wanted to make sure. We needed to practice. It's hard. It's hard to get practice sometimes. So what else can you do? So with the crowds and the noise and the clapping, I found these earplugs that made him so comfortable. And of course, that's what I want. That's what I should want for him, to be more comfortable in a setting that I am putting him in, that he is independent, so he does not need to be there. But I would pull that horse out and bring him in the tent, and he never questioned it. Every time we would do a trick, and we'd come back to the curtain, and then it would be the other girl's turn. Gave my horse a treat. I wanted him to like his job, so I think he was pretty happy with it, since I made him comfortable. And you know, if he blank hates his job, I need to blank find a way for him to like it. Well, I tell people all the time, I give my horses treats. I do not give my horses treats if they are mouthy and running me over. You know, one of the things here, right? I said that they need to have manners, but I pay them because I want them to like their job. So who goes to work and works for free? It sucks, right? Yeah. You get paid for work, it's pretty good. And if you get paid well, then you like going to work, right? Yeah, so incentive. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with rewarding your horse for doing the work that you asked him to do, that he does not need to do, okay? I have a book here. Ooh, I'll show you guys. Stay here. I have a book here. Oh, it's probably backwards. Anyways, you guys recognize that name? Yeah, that's the founder of Modern Circus right there. He was an equestrian. And it's so cool. They have the long S's in here because it's written it's so old. That F, that's an S. Accusation. It looks like accusation. But the father of modern circus, the equestrian, you know, Royal Highness himself, wrote this system of equestrian education. And I encourage you guys to look up stuff like this, exhibiting the beauties and defects of the horse with serious and important observation of his general excellence, preserving him, health, grooming, etc. I think it was more. And just, yeah, Ashley's system of equestrian education. I'll take a picture of it for you so you can see it forward. He was born in 1742, okay? So if you want to see how different horse training was then and now, it's not that different. And he gives his horses rewards as well. So it's interesting because horsemanship has been a thing, around since 350 BC, I think, on horse. You can look this book up too. I wrote about it in the past, On Horsemanship by Xenophon. Yeah, it's like an ancient guy. Anyways, read that. He talks about how your horse needs to have manners, and you have to, not overwork them and be willing to change and not discipline them because they don't understand. I mean, someone's been doing something right with horses for a while. Now, maybe the reason behind them are not so scientific and they're a little anthropomorphic, so you still have to, do your research as well. But it's not new to have a good relationship with horses and, figure out what works for two organisms. It's not always been now get out and work and you have no choice. That is just bad people. Not a time thing, not a thing of history, because it's not always true. Some of it is, but it's a case-by-case basis. So that's all I have for you guys this week. I wanted to keep it a little more short and a little more simple, but we will get back to this. I encourage you to try this. If you're watching the video, you saw my list. And talk to me. Let me know what your list is like. And if you have other questions, as we integrate interviews, we can keep doing more exercises like this at home. So this, I think, encourages people to not just have their weekly lessons, but to be, now that a lot of people are in school right now, today's September 1st, and they're doing school at home, you can do some horsemanship stuff at home. At the clinic over the weekend, I had some of my stellar student kids here, the kids who have taken a clinic and then taken it above and beyond and want to come back. And we talked about visualization. And I told them, like, I don't get to see you guys weekly or as often. And as the weather, in the north, Midwest, the Midwest starts to become colder. I mean, today's September 1st, and it's a little chilly out there. All of a sudden it was summer, and all of a sudden it's fall. As we come up to our last months of being able to ride all the time, how do you keep progressing? How do you keep getting better? How do you keep getting better even if you are still able to take just weekly lessons? You visualize. Okay, your brain doesn't know the difference between running a scenario through your head and actually living through it. If you can really meditate and take yourself through the process over and over and over again, your brain will already know how to do it, and now your body just needs to follow. Okay, so of course, when I was learning under the belly, I, with my old troop leader, my teacher, we did it over and over and over and over again at a standstill, walk, 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 trotting in hand, right? But still, you guys know from trick riding with me, the first time you change from a trot to a canter, it still feels different. Even though you did it 100 times at a trot, that was at a trot. Canter's different. It's a different gait. How do you think I was able to go under my horse at a canter the first time? You're heading head first. That was the hardest part. Is once and that trick, once you start, you can't stop. You have to get up to the other side. I visualized it like 300 times in my head, exactly how it's going to feel, the speed, the rhythm, what I'm going to see, what I'm going to feel, where my hands are going to be, where my feet are going to be, where my horse is going to be. And then the first time I did it at a canter was exactly like I did it in my head. So you can practice your tricks and you can practice your horsemanship by doing journal stuff and visualization. Of course, we want the real thing. Of course, you got to get in there and you got to get the miles under your belt. But you can still do a lot at home with the resources you have. And that's as little as just sitting down, quieting your mind, and then thinking through it. So let's stop there for this week. So partnership. Do this exercise about partnership, and we will reconvene and see what you guys have, and I'll have more stuff for you in the next coming weeks. All right, take care.